Hi, sixth graders. This lesson is on prime versus composite numbers. Label the top of your notebook page accordingly. And our learning target is being able to determine if a number is prime or composite and identifying properties of prime and composite numbers. So a prime number is a number that has only two factors. So these are important vocabulary words that I would like you to write down with the definition. Has only two factors. Factors, I'll come back to the prime having only two factors. Factors are numbers that can be multiplied together to get a number. So, for example, 2 and 3 are factors of 6 because 2 times 3 equals 6. 1 and 6 are also factors of 6 because 1 times 6 is 6. If we look at 10, and the way we write out factors, well, I know that 1 and 10 are factors, 2 and 5 are factors, and then that's it. So 1, 2, 5, and 10 are factors because each number can be multiplied by something else to get 10. So a prime number has only two factors, one of them being 1 and the other being itself. That means that no other numbers can be multiplied together to get that number, only 1 in itself. A composite number then has more than two factors. More than two. So 6 is composite because it has 4 factors. 10 is composite because it has 4 factors. 9 is composite because it has 3 factors. 3 times 3 is 9, so 3 would just be a factor even though it's multiplied by itself. So it's not necessarily all the even numbers because obviously every even number is going to be a composite because every even number can be divided by 2 except for 2, which we'll talk about in a minute here. And then divisible just means that it's a number, it can be divisible by something. So 10 can be divisible by 2 to get a whole number. Everything can be divided by something or everything else basically. It's just it's divisible if you get a whole number. 6 is divisible by 3 because we get 2. So divisible means when divided you get a whole number. So how do we tell if a number is prime? Well, we take the number and we think about its factors. And again, if there are no numbers that can be divided or if there are no numbers that the number can be divided by to get a whole number, or if there's no other factors besides 1 in itself, then it's prime. So what we would do is we would list out the factors and go from there. So let's say we have the number 21. I know, and I always go 1, I always pair it up with the number that it's multiplied by to get to that number. So 1 and 21. I know 2 isn't a factor. 3 is a factor because it's 3 times 7. And then I think in my head, does 4, 5, or 6 go in to 21? And it does not. And once I get to 7, that's already a factor, so no, I know that I'm done. So then we know 21 is not prime. Let's say we have 11. Well, 11 only has 1 and 11 that can be multiplied by each other, so that means it's prime. If we have 17, there's no numbers that can be multiplied to get to 17, so 1 and 17 are its factors, so it's prime. How to tell if a number is composite? Well, that is obviously if, so we can list out the factors again, and then if there's more than 2, then we know it's composite. So 21, we saw that there's more than 2 factors, so we know it's composite. Even if we're starting to list numbers out, like let's say I have 200, and I know right away that 1 and 200 are factors. 1 in itself are always factors of a number no matter what. I know that 2 and 100 are factors. I know that there's so many more, but if I'm just determining if it's prime or composite, I already know that 200 is composite because I have more than 2 factors. So what about 1 and 0? I want you to write this really big in your notebook. Not really big, but write it and circle it and highlight it. 1 and 0 are neither prime or composite. 1 and 0 are neither. And then I want you to write 2, because 2, if we think of the factors of 2, it's just 1 and 2, which is 1 in itself. So 2 is prime. 2 is the only even prime number. Every other even number is composite because every other even number can be divided by 2. So 1 and 0 are neither. 2 is prime. Those should be in your notebook, circled, squared, highlighted, whatever you need to do. All right, identify all the factors of the whole numbers listed below, then state if the number is prime or composite. So if I were you, I would be writing down all 7 of these numbers with the factors that I'm going to list out, and then write if it's prime or composite. So 13, I know that the factors are 1 and 13, so it's prime. 32, I know it's 1, 32, 2 and 16. So right away, I already know it's composite, but I'm going to finish with my factors, 4 and 8. Notice how when I do my factors, they're in order from least to greatest with their pairs on opposite sides. 19 is just 1 and 19, so that's prime. 44, 1, 44, 2, 22, not 3, and I know 4 and 11, and then that is all we have, so that's way more than 2, so it's composite. 30, I already know is going to be composite because it's even. 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, not 4, but then we have 5 and 6. 9 is 1, 3 and 9, so that's composite. 0, remember, is neither. And then just a reminder, 1 is neither, 2 is prime. So this is just a fun little picture that I found on the internet. If you want to take a picture of it and screenshot just to have it in your iPad to remember it, or otherwise just to kind of, if you want to rewrite it on your notebook, whatever you want to do, but I liked how it had it written out for the definitions. And that's all I have for prime and composite numbers. So rewatch any parts of the videos that you have and then keep these notes nice and handy to be able to use throughout this unit. Have a great day.